So I'm going to introduce the first piece. It's entitled Porcupine. Here's what UBC student composer Ethan Lustig says about this piece. Porcupine is based on the 1968 poem Porcupines by Captain H.S. Calverley, an Ontario poet who wrote In Stream of Consciousness. There are no metaphors, political references, or philosophical statements in this piece. Perhaps to Calverley, but who's to say with him, but definitely not to Lustig. However, there is word painting. Musically, this piece was influenced by minimalist music, atonal music, jazz, and R&B. Please welcome Michael Park, joined by soprano Heather Malloy and cellist Stefan Hintersteininger. first-year master's student here at UBC and part of the Composers Collective. The piece is called O Rămâi and consists of a single poem written by Romanian poet Mihai Eminescu that's broken up into segments and interspersed between short instrumental movements. The text portrays a subject that looks back fondly to a youthful yet lost love. The images become more and more vivid and seductive until fantasy verges on overtaking reality. Fragments of text from various other sources accompany most of the instrumental movements as well, providing unspoken commentary or reflection on the main storyline. Michael Park will be playing, as well as Heather Malloy and clarinetist Liam Hockley. When you're ready.
Thank you.
for intermission. This one was written by Christopher Gainey. He's a first-year PhD student here at UBC. In 2010, he was asked to write a piece for the concert at the University of South Carolina celebrating the music of Nina Simone. Drifting on the Wild Wind, the result of this collaboration, is loosely based on Wild as the Wind, a song made popular by Nina Simone on her 1966 album of the same name. This relationship is most evident in a certain melodic and rhythmic flexibility that pays homage to a certain feature of not only Nina Simone's performance, but also the interpretations of other performers. For an interesting contrast to Ms. Simone, he also recommends David Bowie's version from 1981. Joining Michael is Sarah Klock on viola. right, so our next piece is written by a fourth-year undergrad composer, Paul Lee. It's called Black Piano Suite. It's a programmatic work which narrates the story of an old piano possessed by a wandering spirit. For this performance, the first and last movements will be played. In the first movement, the theme of the spirit is heard with a distant and dreamy quality, depicting its ephemeral nature. The spirit has yet to find the piano that will embody it and allow it to realize its music. In the fourth and final movement, the spirit has departed and the piano is left to try and recall the music, but alas, is only able to recapture a glimpse. Please welcome back our host for the evening, Michael Clark. Trodden Path is a song cycle written by Eileen Paget, first year DMA student here. It sets music to several poems by Green College resident and local poet David Prest. Songs selected for tonight's event are entitled Competition, Toast and Jam, They Forgot, and The Path. It will be performed by Eileen Paget on piano and sung by Florian Gassner.
Finish line. I came in first. I came in first once. Numero one. Numero. No one noticed. No one cheered. No one noticed. No one cheered. On the sidelines I stood. On the sidelines I stood. A smile on my face. I came in first. In this one-man race. I'd known him for 10 years over coffee one morning. He told me that he was gay. I'd known him for 10 years over coffee one morning. He told me that he was gay. I looked in his eyes. He was nervous. I looked in his eyes. He asked if we still could be friends. All I could think to say was, I'm not gay. Can we still be friends? We called the waitress over. We both smiled and ordered toast and jam. eternity God's will, is it not? A child remains alone on the street. Waiting for promises, they stare at their feet. The poor on the home front seem glued to a spot. Nowhere to go, no place to safe in their homes, consuming fresh meat. The ones at the top, it appears they forgot. A child remains alone on the street, no place to go, nothing to eat. Trodden on by 1,000 pairs of feet. I was 1,000,001. I was 1,000,001. I stumbled into ruts, fell, got up, fell, got, I stumbled into ruts, fell, got up, sidled into trees, a path trodden on by 1,000 pairs of feet. 1,000 pairs of feet. It was all new to me.
So before introducing the last piece of the night, I just wanted to let everybody know, if you're interested in seeing more performances like this, anything that the Composers Collective is involved with, there is a sign-up sheet over here to receive our emails. So here's our last piece. Our final piece of the evening is written by our host, lovely pianist, fellow UBC composer Michael Park. This is called Compassion and Sacrifice. It's many things to many people. For the composer, it is a speaking duo for viola and piano. For the performers, it's the unique challenge of having to speak while playing their instruments. For art lovers, it's a critique of how arts funding is portrayed in the right-wing media. Compassion and Sacrifice is the latest creation from one of Vancouver's most vibrant collaborative teams, Michael Park and Ray Sue. In response to the jaw-dropping Sun News media interview between Krista Erickson and iconic dancer Margie Gillis, Michael and Ray discussed the interview at length, becoming obsessed with the ideas of media analysis, copyright, and fair dealing. Using those discussions as a basis, Ray sculpted a dialogue between musicians, nested with quotations from the interview. By musicalizing that dialogue, Michael has ensured that it's not one you'll soon forget. In his rather puckish way, Ray Sue live tweeted from the world premiere that, quote unquote, the concert ranged from the beautiful, the weird, and the feel-good. I think mine was the weird one. Thank you all so much for coming out this evening. Thank you again to the people here at Green College for their continued generosity, and thank you so much for Michael Park for making this happen. So, without further ado.
www.sunnewsnetwork.ca/video/9714542530001. It's called A Lack of Compassion.
What is it?
Oh, it's Krista Erickson interviewing iconic dancer Margie Gillis on the Sun News Network on June 1st, 2011 at 2:31 p.m.
Is it just me, or does it look a lot like Fox News?
What do you mean?
I mean the punditry. Margie says, we were, I thought, a compassionate society. Then Krista says, all right, we're not a compassionate society anymore. Were we not compassionate? In 2008, when we gave you $50,000, a personal grant that you received, the Walter Carson Prize? And were we not compassionate in fiscal year 2009 when taxpayers gave you and your foundation a grant for $105,000? What is it about Canadians exactly that they're lacking compassion? $1.2 million is not enough compassion for you? You get two people on the screen and you get them to argue. Like, what's that talk show?
Jerry Springer.
Exactly. Entertainment. And it's big money. First Fox News, then CNN, then everything.
But Margie didn't know she was going to be a pundit.
No, you're right, she didn't. She says, I guess you don't need to intend to be a pundit. Maybe she walked into a trap, and she found herself being forced into the position of a pundit.
When I first saw the interview, I wanted Margie to be a hero, our hero, stand up for the arts. But watching it again, it seems that she avoids the questions. I think that makes for a bad interview.
I counted it out. Margie says compassion 5 times. She says sacrifice 12 times.
Krista says compassion 10 times, sacrifice 6 times. Krista says, you're the one that praised sacrifices. That is the ultimate sacrifice. Given that those people have made those sacrifices, I don't think you can say that ours is a society lacking in compassion.
Yeah, Margie says, I didn't say that they are lacking in compassion. Certainly, I am not saying that those people who sacrificed their lives for our country are anything less than absolute heroes. And I am utterly and completely grateful for the sacrifice. I am also grateful for the sacrifices of other people. And I also think we have a responsibility to be kind and just and think compassionately about those who have less than we do. How do we incorporate that?
Okay, when quoting from the interview, we actually have to play and speak at the same time. The music serves as air quotes.
$1.2 million is not enough compassion for you.
The dialogue inspires me. Anything left over is critique. The critique lingers in the mind as the music demonstrates it. It continues.
After reading the transcript of the interview, your mind continues to pore over it.
The music functions as the meandering thought that follows the interview experience.
This seems much different than what we started out with, what we thought we would do. It reminds me, we were so worried about infringing on copyright. Who owns the original text? Margie, Krista, Sun Media? What was the text anyways? The words that constituted the interview? Does this count as fair dealing?
What is fair dealing anyway? I thought the music would create the drama. Watching Fox News interviews, adding drama to the music would be redundant.
There's no room for media analysis in Fox News. No room in Sun News. We'd be creating a space for media analysis in our artwork. When you get 2 pundits bashing each other, you get entertainment, but not much room to reflect critically on the issues. The bashing stands in for analysis. Empty calories.
Making room for this analysis might highlight my experience of the interview. It's all sound bites. My experience was overwhelmed with emotion.
I was confused.
But I feel like it's not a real emotional response. It's just reflex. I'm not sure actual emotion is there. What lingers is the frustration of not having connected to any real dialogue.
So it feels unresolved. If I were really there, I would have punched somebody in the face.
Like some kind of weird sporting event.
Do you identify with Margie? Does she stand in for the artist caught off guard?
Not everyone felt that way, but especially when she said, I don't belittle the sacrifice of other people, but nor do I think you should belittle the sacrifice of my community. I would not Everyone's different. My roommate didn't want to engage with something so frustrating. Others think lots more about the financial side of things.
I love Krista's motions. I love that she's mocking something she doesn't even understand.
The funny part is that she uses interpretive dance to express something that she can't express through words.
She says, I don't get this, and then interprets what she doesn't get through her movement.
What irony.
What can we do with it?
I want to have twin themes. Compassion and sacrifice. We can use the moments in the text when they're actually used.
Use those sentences.
$1.2 million is not enough of compassion for you.
I like how it taps into our preoccupations. The legality of using the text is the pretext for what we'll do now. Speaking of legalities, Krista asks, why can't you do this without a leg up from the taxpayer?
Because the parts just aren't covered. We're taking little sound bites. It's cheeky. Yeah. Those legalities actually require us to use the web address.
Citing it would acknowledge that the event has a life outside the live performance. The copyright issues we were dealing with were just the beginning.